So I realized that, oh, this could be the gross profit easily, if there is nothing at stake. Then I was also worried about what could happen. Then I also realized again that Airbnb has got insurance called air cover. So the main cost to any Airbnb host is cleaning because that's what turns over. So let me give
Yeah.
you the most challenging part. Somebody
Yeah.
actually was a cocaine dealer and booked one of my room in the city center. He literally broke into the whole apartment. But the good thing is Airbnb has a very good insurance policy.
You operate in the UK and you realize that these big cities, London, Manchester, and the others are saturated. How do I stand out in that saturated market?
If there is a hotel, go ahead there. So they have spent thousands of pounds to do the research for you to tell you that this is where people travel to. Unless you are able to take risk, you will never make any money. And if you're not ready to take a risk, remind yourself that I told you that if you've been on a plane, you have made the most unwise decision. You can't run a business. You can't. Short-term rental is something people will always need, and you will not go wrong with it.
Welcome to another episode of the King Obed podcast. Today's guest is someone who has been on the King Obed podcast before, and today he's here to give us all the details that we need to know in the Airbnb space. So he's used proven strategies to build a proper and a sustainable Airbnb business. He is Dennis. Welcome to the King Obed podcast, Dennis.
Thank you, my brother. I'm happy to be here once again.
Yes. How has it been?
Oh, it's been good. Just busy. Summer and all of these businesses, Airbnb cleaning. I mean, it's the peak, so it's been quite busy. Yeah.
So this episode is basically to dive into your journey as an Airbnb host and also the struggles, the wins, the systems, and then the mindset that you've been able to build up to this point, and you are running a sustainable Airbnb business. But all in all, at what point did you realize that you can turn your room or somebody's spare room into a rental space?
Yeah, for me, it was just a chance because in my cleaning business, we used to clean for all of these, Airbnb hosts. So I got quite exposed to it because of one business that I had. And the frequency at which you were calling us made sense to me because if some people are calling you like 3 times in a week, that means guests are walking in and out in a week. And one time I just checked their bookings. I mean, as they are my customers, I want to know how they are doing. So I just try to check them out online. Then I saw the rates that they put on, and I did the math. I'm like, oh yeah, this makes a lot of sense. And I know how much the properties cost, especially around the city centers. So I realized that, oh, this could be the gross profit easily, if there is nothing at stake. Then I was also worried about what could happen. Then I also realized again that Airbnb has got insurance called air cover. So I mean, you don't have so much risk doing Airbnb. So it was just a chance that I worked with these people. I got to know them. I realized that, yeah, the turnover wouldn't be bad, and I just zoomed into it. Yeah. So it was purely by chance by working with these hosts who I used to clean for. Yeah.
Okay, so you just took advantage of an opportunity that you chanced
Exactly.
on, and then you turned that into a business.
Yes. It was a great one because you do their works and they call you all the time. So imagine if they are paying like £500 a month for cleanings done for them. It tells you that is just like some little percentage of their whole revenue. Understand? And that was it, of course. Once they are in business, it means they're making profit. And there were a couple of them. So just looking at it, I was like, yeah, this is good business because it really works. Looking at the number of times they called me to come and clean. I mean, me and my business to come and clean. So it just made sense to me that this is a good business, and it is a good business.
Okay, so from the time that you chanced on that opportunity, how long did it take you for you to list your first rental space or Airbnb into operation?
3 weeks, just 3 weeks. I don't waste time at all. The thing
For
is
3
called
weeks.
fail fast. Yeah, if you venturing into any business, your main aim is to fail, and you don't have to delay at failing. So just go in to do whatever you want to do and fail fast. If you don't fail, you're succeeding. So it was 3 weeks. Yeah, that was it. I did not waste time at all.
Okay, 3 good weeks between
Yes,
the
just
space
21
where
days.
you chanced on an opportunity, and then
Yes,
when you decided that yes, you are going to launch your first listing.
yes. I mean, I had been cleaning for them, but when
Interesting.
I did the maths and I realized that was an opportunity, to when I did my first listing was 3 weeks. Yes. I mean, when I knew about it, it was months. Yeah.
Okay.
This is after I had done the math and I was like, no, this is good business. And I might venture into it. From then to the time I listed my first property, it was 3 weeks exactly.
Okay, so when you listed or you launched it, what were you running from or chasing when you first listed your Airbnb business?
Yeah, so um, I would say I wasn't running from if I wasn't in a good business, I would have said I was running from my business. My business was very sustainable. It's still sustainable. So I was rather
Okay.
chasing, that revenue cycle because for my business we clean for property, we clean property, short-term lets, different kinds of property, commercial and all. Airbnb is solely dependent on cleaning, right? So sometimes even if these guys have money or they want to pay double, they don't even get cleaners to clean because sometimes they have like 2 to 3 hour window for the next guest to come. So imagine if you are an Airbnb host, one of your guests is leaving at 12 p.m. and the next one is checking it at 3. That is 3 hours. And you need a cleaner to come in. Your cleaner might just call in sick. So that is the main challenge. So I already had a solution to that challenge because I have a cleaning company already. You get it? So I was actually
Mm,
chasing that
yeah.
business continuity where now my business are making sense, they're communicating with each other. So my cleaning business is cleaning for my short-term rental business. So I would never, and I've never had that worry of, a guest coming in and the place is not clean because I prioritize my own work first before I even do work for other people. So for me, it was just reduced overhead. So no matter what they are paying to, I mean, me as a business, of course, when they are paying to me, they don't pay minimum wage to a cleaner. They are paying me as a business a flat rate that I will pay my
Yeah.
team. Then of course the business will make some profit and taking it overhead. But for me as an Airbnb host, I don't do that because the cleaning business is already like internal. So it is just like assigning one of my team members, my colleagues, to do the cleaning, and it's internal. So I get cleaning for cheaper. So if you are competing with me, I always beat you to it because the main cost to any Airbnb host is cleaning because that's what turns over. We call it turnover cleaning. If somebody left the room messy, you want to turn over like it's sparkling and shining all the taps and everything. Beds are laid white, carpet, very good, pretty much hoovered. Towels are, clean, dry, and everything. That is what your whole listing is dependent on. So everything is in the hands of the cleaner. You get it. And for me, I have that company running already. And I'm very much versed and experienced dealing with Airbnbs and working within short, or limited time. So it was just like an easy peasy thing. I just, sang that business, the cleaning business into it, and it was just easy for me. So it was just two businesses that communicated with each other and it made sense to me. So I had a lot of overhead costs beaten down
Wow.
and the margin was better. Yeah.
Wow. So you've been able to more or less combine the two
Hmm.
businesses and they are
Start
kind of helping each other,
each other,
sustain
yes.
each other, raise each other.
With one overhead cost here.
Interesting. Interesting. You're a sharp man. You're a sharp guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Interesting. But do you remember your first guest and how was the feeling like?
Oh, so good. I mean, regardless of how positive you were, you are always having that, imposter syndrome where
Yeah.
you're like, oh, people, I mean, I've done the right things. City, the properties in the city center, everything. I mean, Airbnb just sent me a message that you've got a booking, that. And I just put it on instant booking. Instant booking is when the person that doesn't need to contact you to ask you questions or to request whether they can book it before they book it. In that you will get a
Yeah.
chance to what, let's say vet or sift the guest. But I'm like, to get the bookings going, just make it instant. So the person can just book and get a message. So I was there, I just got a message, an email from Airbnb and a text message. They give you all of those. Your phone just ping, 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 ping on your text, on your email, you got a booking, your Facebook, and that was it. I was quite overwhelmed because I'm like, oh, what do I do? What do I say? That kind of thing. And the good thing is because I was working with these guys, I knew what to do. I had a key box so that, you take yourself out of the checking in process. You don't need to be there to be handing in the key and everything. So I'd already drafted my message, everything. When you go here, look for this door, that. There's a key code. Take this key, go to the second floor. There's a room number, very simple and it was easy. So the only time I spoke to the guest was just the time they were in, and I think they messaged me on Airbnb about some car park. Then already I knew about the area, but the mistake I did was I should have even given that information in the check-in notes that these are the car parks that
Yeah.
are around. So even in my second booking, they already knew where the car park was because I learned from it and I just put that information there. So they messaged me. I called them on phone, showed them the car park, and that was it. So it was good service. It was cool. They were happy and all that. So I was a bit of I didn't know what to do. I was all over the place, but because I had, I mean, knowledge and had all the database on how these guys run it, was easy. So that's what made me feel like I don't have an experience. I don't have the experience, but I'm just copying people. So that was where I was overwhelmed that is it gonna work, and it
Mm.
worked. Yeah, it really worked. Yeah,
It really worked.
yeah.
Okay. So is it that you own the room or you've hired someone's room, and how is it? How does it work? If for instance, if I have a space or I have a room and I want to use it as Airbnb, how does it work?
Yeah, on my last time on your pod, I mentioned something about arbitrage. You know,
Yeah.
for a young person in
Mhm.
business, you don't commit so much money into assets like, I mean, long-term assets that it will take you years to save deposit to buy a house just based on Airbnb to get, what margin. It's not worth it. If you have £20,000 to put on a deposit and still pay mortgage for one house, why don't you split it into four? And I mean, 5,000s, right? And try to get properties for each of the 5,000. So let's say you get property for 1,000 a month, deposit is 1,000, and that's 2,000. You stage it. We might get there. I know we can talk about staging everything when we get there. It costs you 5,000 to
Yeah.
get a room, rent it, and now you're looking at your next rent. Everything is staged properly. So 20,000 you're going to put down as a deposit. I'm not saying don't buy houses, but if you want to do Airbnb, instead of using 20K to just buy one house to get just one source of income, why don't you buy four and just strip yourself of the ego that I own it, rent from somebody, get four of it, and make four different sources of what income. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, if you want to buy it for your own
Income.
home, fair enough. And maybe you bought it as your own home, and you've been transferred to work somewhere else, and you're renting there. You want to Airbnb to pay your rent there. That means you're not making any income because you are just literally taking money from here to pay your rent. That if you have that kind of money as deposit, get a lot of properties, and that's called arbitrage, where you don't own it. You get somebody's property. Of course, you let them know that you want to use it as Airbnb, and you list it. And once you are paying them their rent, they are okay. Then you can also operate it as a business, and that's how it works. So arbitrage is the best thing to go for when getting into these should I say capital intensive ventures, because Airbnb, or let's say property, is capital intensive. If you want to buy four houses, you're looking at deposit for four houses. That's a lot. But that deposit for one house can really get you at least for, let's say, 2 years for four different properties that you have to operate very well and get all your profit off it. And you don't have to own it. Yeah.
Okay. So you have all these spaces, but they are not directly yours.
Yes. I've arbitraged. So I've intercepted the flow. I rent from the landlord, then I put it on
Mm,
Airbnb. So I have the lease as a person operating or having access to the property. The key thing is you have to let the landlord know what you're going to use it for. Yeah, because some of them, even their mortgage does not support, listing it as short-term rental. So it might be
yeah.
unlawful if you don't let them
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
So what will be some of the things that I will need if I want to start an Airbnb like business or listing? I need a space, obviously. And what do I need? What are some of the requirements that will be required of me as a first time?
Yeah. So for the start out, the basic things. So you don't need a coffee machine, that is advanced. You just need a toaster, a microwave, a fridge, all of these basic things that you can put in a home. Salt, sugar,
Yeah.
coffee. They go in set. Of course, you have a kettle that
Yeah.
they can always, make some coffee or some tea. Tea bags are like £1 for a whole box. Oil is just like, and of course, utensils like one frying pan, a pot, a set of pots. Then, of course, cutlery. All of these things. If you want to step out a bit, you can get some wine glasses, but that is not even necessary. You can just get normal drinking glasses or cups and mugs to make, some beverage, and that should be fine. So when you've got all of these things, then you can stage your own room. Some of the rooms, I mean, if you've got a property, if it is staged, there's no problem. But if it is not staged, then you have to not stage. If it is furnished, then it's easy for you to stage it because there's already a bed. There's, let's say, a sofa that is in good state that you can use. There is a desk. The furnished properties make your life very easy. But if it is unfurnished, then you have to get a bed, you have to get a wardrobe, you have to get a desk and a chair because now many people like to work from home. So why don't you get all of those set up for the guests? And of course, these things are basic. Nobody goes to a room that there is just a bed in there. If it is like a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, there's a living area, then you are also looking at getting a sofa, getting some side lamp, things that make the aesthetics appealing. The room has to be giving, as we all say.
Clearly.
So make it very nice and very good aesthetics. And it depends on you. The style would call for the kind of client. So if you want it to be very posh, then you have to style it in a posh way. And in that case, you can what? Increase
Mm-hmm.
the price. And of course, you are targeting people who can pay. They want to be in a place where, it's nice. That if you also want to make it very basic, then of course, your price can be high. And in that case as well, it's going to attract those kind of customers. And that is how it plays. So it's basically things that are in the home. If it is finished, you have a very good way to start. You just buy the utensils, you buy the utility equipment, those kind of things. And of course, one thing that is very important is carbon monoxide detector. Because if somebody's in Airbnb and there is like a leak of carbon monoxide and they die, in as much as it's not you, you're just going to go through a whole lot of, you know, issues with the police before you are exonerated. You get it? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't happen most often, but it just makes sense to get a carbon monoxide detector. That's less than £10. It doesn't cost anything. Also, make sure that the room there is any, like for instance, if it's a studio or if the kitchen is one that people will be cooking properly, there is what a fire alarm. All of these basic things should work for you. Apart from that, you don't need any other thing. Of course, beddings as well. I mean, these things are basic. Beddings, you have to get good beddings that when you take the pictures, it will look very good. Yeah, so it pretty much depends on you how much you want to spend. If you want to get like curtains made with satin, I mean, it depends on you. But if you just want to style it in a bit that you don't care about the material, just some nice curtains, some nice pillowcases. Some people even have a color team for their Airbnb where they stick to it. The walls have some green color, and that colors you have it on the some part of the bed. Those
Yeah,
it depends. It depends on how much you want to put into it. Yeah, and
it
also
depends.
attract different, I mean, strata of customers. So it pretty much depends on you. But you can start basics. You can start with the basics.
Okay. Okay. So now it means that now you have the room. Now you stock the room up to the standard. What is the next step? Where does it go? Do you now go to the Airbnb site or what's the next process?
Yeah, so you just download the Airbnb app, or if you want to do it on the web, that's fine. But you download the Airbnb app, then instead of um you sign in anyway, but instead of using it as a guest, you can just go to switch. Then you switch to what a host. So in your own Airbnb app, you can always be a guest where you are booking Airbnb in another city, or you can actually
Yeah.
switch to become a host. So when you go to host, they've made it very easy. They start asking you questions. Where is the property? What is the address? What do you have? You start taking, I have a kettle, I have this. They have everything there. So you just have to go through it and be taking it. Take everything you have.
Mm,
It is a shared accommodation. Let's say it's a 2 bedroom house. When it's if you book it, it's all of it is for you. Or it's a 2 bedroom house, but if you book one room, you have access to just one room. We even have all of those. Like people have a 5 bedroom apartment, and you can only book one room in it. And whoever is booking knows that they're even going to share the bathroom with other people. And of course, that affects the price. That wouldn't be too expensive. Yeah, so all of these things come to play. Even if you have a swimming pool, you can take it. Whatever you have as amenities in the house or apartment, you can take it. So Airbnb makes it very easy. Then you also set all of these settings that I mentioned. Like, how do you want to be booked? Do you want the people to contact you to ask you questions before they book, or do you want them to just book instantly and you get a message? You can't change it. You can have access to their profile before they book it. So that also makes the booking easier because many people don't want to request and wait for you to respond. Some people just want to book straight ahead, so it makes you get booking. Then again, they also ask you the cancellation. When do you want to be prompted before you would refund? So you can say that if you cancel a day before, I can refund to you. So the closer the cancellation goes with the check-in, the higher people book. Some people are not sure what they are booking. So if they know that they can cancel a day before, they will always book. But if you set it as you can only cancel like 5 days before, you might lose bookings because some people are not really sure. So these are the things that Airbnb will ask you, and it will guide you through. I wouldn't remember everything, but it will guide you through everything that has to do with you and
Everything.
a guest in future. So it's just like you are building your own policy that they are going to use
Yeah.
with you for you in terms of anything. So it's straightforward. Get on the app, switch to a
Okay.
host, and start listening. Then of course it will ask you for the pictures. Then you upload them. It really would advise you to upload as many pictures as you can because that is what people are going to see. And that is where I would advise that you get a professional photographer to, take the pictures and you can have it very nice because sometimes you want to take it and it won't be as nice. But if you are quite good with picture taking, you can use your own iPhone, take quality pictures, and you're
Yeah.
done. And when you upload them
Okay.
and you finish everything you submit, it goes to review. It doesn't take time, like a day, and your property is listed. You get a message that it's listed. And when they list it, they boost it for you. So they put you on top and see how people will book you. And if you're able to keep up with it, that is it. So there's a chance you might get booking in the next 2 or 3 days. It's that shocking. You get bookings yeah.
Interesting. So these are the ways. But who determines the charge? How much the room per night should cost and the host?
It is you. It is you, yeah. It is you that determines the charge. So you would have to go around or look around to see how much people are charging for the number of rooms you have, whether it's a studio, whether it's a one-bedroom
Okay.
flat, whether it's a two-bedroom, or whether it's a two-bedroom, it's a multiple bedroom house, but it is shared between people. So you have to have an idea of how much the industry is charging and you price it. The good thing is
Okay.
you can always charge for cleaning. So you can charge, say, let's say a night in your Airbnb is 90 quid or let's say 120, and that excludes your cleaning. So you say that cleaning is let's say £25 or £30. So the guest would know that cleaning is different from what the charge. So all of these things depend on you. Sometimes you can decide not to charge for cleaning and you will pay your cleaners from whatever you are earning. So it pretty much depends on you. It's your own charge. If you charge more than the industry, it affects you. Yeah.
But is it really profitable? Because I think I've seen a post or a study by Air DNA, which was done in 2023. It says that I think an average UK Airbnb host earns about 17,000 annually. Is it really profitable?
It is profitable because they are basing this on how much they are declaring, right? If you want to see how much they are earning, you want to go to their public records to check what they are declaring. Mind you, there are many expenses that many people run their business in a way that their lifestyle is on. You get it? So they get away with a lot of things that won't be declared. And for UK, because the taxes are high, I think many people would also be very mindful about taxes and all. So I would always challenge that is not a clear picture of it. Then why are people still having
Okay.
Airbnbs? People leave and the only
Yeah.
thing they do is Airbnb. So it really works.
Airbnb.
You definitely, I mean, if you are getting good occupancy, occupancy is how many times out of the month you are booked. So let's say if you have 30 days and you are booked for the whole 30 days, you have a whole month booking. That is 100% occupancy. If you have 20, it's 20 over 30 times what? 100. So it pretty much depends, but it's a lie. I don't believe, I won't say it's a lie from AirDNA, but it's a lie from the Airbnb host. They are not declaring it properly. Yes, because from where I stand, you should be earning more than that if it's like a full-time thing for you. Of course, as well, many Airbnb hosts you are not having it as full-time business. They have their own business and it's just one property in their house or a single room that they are listing. So if
Yeah.
you are earning 17K average, living 10K a year from a room, I mean, as profit, it's still good money. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if a side hustle is giving 10K after paying for everything, then that is good. Yeah.
It's a good side hustle.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine you are earning 40K and your side hustle also brings you profit of 10K. And this is not something that you go to work to do. You don't do overtime for this.
Yeah.
It's something that you
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
sit online and just chat with people and they check in and that cleaners come to clean and all. I mean, whilst you are even
Mm.
working, you can still chat with your clients. To make 10K more, it's still good money. So let's not 17K. So imagine if the average person is making 17K more. It's still good money. So for those that take it as a good business, have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 properties, they are good to go. They are making a lot. Yeah.
So for how long have you been in this space? Have you been in the Airbnb space?
Yeah, I've been in since 2022, I would say, yeah. Yeah, 2022.
Okay.
I think the lesson part
Okay.
of 2022, yeah.
So far, how is it? What are some of the challenges, and then what difficulties have you encountered in all?
That's the difficult part. Sometimes you think it's passive, and that's why I would say passive income is not always passive. You know, before it gets to a point where it's very passive, then you've done a lot of work on it. You've got a lot of experience. You know what to say, how to deal with every problem. So let me give you
Yeah.
the most challenging part. Somebody
Yeah.
actually was a cocaine dealer and booked one of my room in the city center and was dealing cocaine in the room, supplying. And of course, police had been tracking him wherever he goes, tracking his phone. They knew he was booking Airbnb. So they literally broke into the whole apartment, broke into the room and he was taken away. Yeah. And this is a person that had paid like a whole month. Money wasn't the issue for him. He had paid for the whole month and was using the place to peddle drugs. And it was a big deal. I was called in the middle of the night. So, and that's why I always say, if the landlord is not aware, there will be a problem. Because
Yeah.
how would you explain this if the landlord thought that you are just renting it to live in, and now they realize it's an Airbnb? And of course, people lived around. It's a flat, not even around. People live in the house, so there's a lot of chaos in there. So we had to do a bit of stakeholder management and all to calm people down to let them understand that it was just a bad guy. The landlord obviously knew it was a bad guy. The good thing is there is insurance, so Airbnb will take care of it. They bought it cost like I think around 1,200 to replace the main door. It was a big heavy door, and of course the door as well. I mean, where the room door, they replaced everything. They paid for it. I mean, I don't know how good change this person for it, but of course they cover you in terms of such instances. If it was a mini course or something that was very little, like cleaning issue, somebody left there very
Mm-hmm.
messy, they will ask you to send an invoice
Yeah.
and they will ask the person to pay. So them, if they don't pay, they will pay, but they will chase the person. Of course, maybe give the person a penalty, book Airbnb, so give them a very bad, star, so that people will not
Review.
accept them into their home.
Yeah.
So it works that way. But the good thing is Airbnb has a very good insurance policy that takes care of these things. Yeah. So that was the worst
Okay.
scenario. Sometimes too, a
Wow.
guest will call you in the middle of the night that they want to they cannot find a TV remote. And it's so painful. I don't know how to do it. Sometimes you want to even call on the video to just show them where it is. It's so painful. Just to record in the middle of the night
Yeah.
that they want a TV remote. Yeah, meanwhile it's at the place. So sometimes you just have to be proactive to list everything. This is where the TV
Mm.
remote is. This is
Mm.
what this is. And
Mm.
when the cleaners go, they should send you pictures and videos so that you know that everything is intact. And that is very helpful. So from those times I was getting calls on this petty stuff, I started listing everything that is in the property and where you can find it so that I don't get called. And make sure it's also in a place that they can see, maybe on a desk or let's say on a bed. You know, one thing we always did was we put the towels on the bed, we put a hair dryer on the bed so that when you get it, you know that this is where this is. And it will be easy. TV
I
remotes,
think that.
after those issues, we started putting them at a place that you can just see it. And we listed
Yeah.
them in a note that this is where you can find that. And the wireless password, people would always worry you. Wireless password, I'm typing it, it's not working. So we're like, okay, why don't we just change the password to something very simple so that people
Yeah.
don't mistype capital W or small W and they will call you that it's not working. But meanwhile, the whole thing is they don't know the difference between the caps and small letters. So
The
these
small
are some
letters.
things that you learn along the way that will save you a lot of time and give you peace of mind. Yeah.
I think there was a time I encountered a certain challenge. We went there to the Airbnb place, and then we're looking for the apartment. I think we got to the actual apartment, but because it was a whole bunch of apartment, now we couldn't actually locate the room. So we had to
And the
just
person don't leave
walk
you guys a good
around, go
note.
back and forth. Maybe we didn't find the actual description because in the end, where we thought it was there. But because we had to open a main door to get into the actual one.
Yeah,
We couldn't locate it properly, and so we
yeah,
were back
yeah,
and forth. I think it took us almost
yeah.
more than I think close to 2 hours.
Look at that. Well, that's
It
that's
was
a lot.
interesting.
Yeah,
We were calling them, and then they were saying that still everything is intact, everything is there.
it's
They
yeah,
gave us all the direction and things. Still, what they were saying is what they were saying because They know that
Yeah.
everything is there, but we couldn't
Everything is
maybe
intact.
probably find the actual spot. So I
Yeah.
could relate
Yeah.
to what you are saying.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's challenging.
It's
Interesting,
very
interesting.
challenging most of the
So
time. Yeah.
you are just operating in the UK alone, right?
Yeah, just the weekend.
Okay, but what makes the UK market, like unique compared to other parts of the world that you know of?
Yeah, I don't know other places pretty well, but I understand, UK people like to travel all the time,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it
yeah,
makes it easy. Like this summer, people are always traveling. People, the only time that people don't travel is around the Unitide, where people like to stay at home and, you know, just Merry Christmas and
yeah.
everything. But apart from that, people are always traveling in UK and work. Now, a lot of people travel for work. Yeah, I had one of the Airbnbs around hospital, Glenfield Hospital, and I was thinking it was out of town, but it was one of my best performing because at the time, like some doctors and nurses will come and they book it for like a whole 2 months,
Mm-hmm.
and they are in there just so they will be
Okay.
attending their work at the hospital. So it will shock you that where you not even think of, look at the things that are around that people come to. Yeah, and that is how it works. Sometimes it's not all about the city centers. Many people would like to go outskirts a bit, depending on what they're looking for, and it works. Now, even people are having experience Airbnbs where people travel for experience, like a tent that they rent out, an A-shaped house, tree house, all of these things, some shared by the river. All of these things are now good Airbnbs that people pay a lot just to have a good experience with nature. So, I mean, things are really changing with the Airbnb and short term rental industry is really lucrative now and creative. People are getting really creative around.
Okay. Okay. Is the Airbnb space choked?
It is choked. I think it's choked, but it is choked for people who are not willing to be creative. I mean, to understand how businesses run. Yes, because now Airbnb is not just you just listing it and going. It requires a lot of customer service before you can get your rebookings coming in. It requires a lot of business acumen. So if you don't run as a business, you feel like it's choked. Nobody's booking you. It is just because you're not following up for the right reviews. You don't know how to build reviews and all. So people think it's choked, but for those that have stepped up to understand how business is run, it is not choked. Mind you, when Airbnb started, the idea was for people to shift things in your room for people to come and sleep by them. When Airbnb started, people literally shared bed. Yeah. People were like, oh yes, well, if you don't mind,
They
you're a
share that
traveler.
with strangers.
Yeah, yeah. You can just come and crash in my couch, and that is you pay a little money. Then rooms, people started dressing their rooms, staging it properly. Then people who had spare rooms, it was always like a spare room. Nobody was going to buy a room, a house to list on Airbnb. It
Yeah.
was just an idea like that. Now it became lucrative. Now people started investing, acquiring properties. People even acquire like a whole block of like let's say 20, 21 to 30 flats to list on Airbnb like a hotel, like self-service accommodate, or let's say boutique hotel. So if you look at this investment, it means that it has stepped up from you just putting your room on there to where people are actually investing. People are actually investing millions of pounds in Airbnb. And the only platform that they are using is Airbnb or Booking.com, or all of these platforms that support a short-term holiday rental. So it is pretty much choked because some people have like 40 units in a city. So it's not like 40 other people have 40 units. One person has 40 units. So how do you beat the
One
market?
person. Yeah.
Yeah. But for what it's worth, like I always mention this in business, that is business that you have to venture into because the data shows that it makes money. And that's why people are already in it. If you want a business that people are not in it, then you want to take all the risk. That people will use that what a scapegoat or somebody who has done it and failed, then they would what improve on it. But
Yeah.
because people are investing into it, it should rather tell you that yeah, it is lucrative. You understand? So people who have big money have actually invested into research to know where, I mean, people travel to, and they are investing hugely in there. So the fact that it is showed tells you that there is a very great market share to tap from.
So you operate in the UK, and I know, for instance, bigger cities in the UK like Manchester, London are more of a saturated market. How do you, as a first time Airbnb host, or as somebody who is even into the business, how do you stand out in those markets?
Yeah. First of all, I would rather go to where there is saturation. I always tell people who ask me about which place is the best place to set up. I always say go to where the hotels are because hotels, these big brands, Travelers, Premier Inn, all of these hotels, Holiday Inn, they spend money to do research. They spend thousands, tens of thousands of pounds to research before they put millions into buildings, amenities, employ staff, catering, and everything. Do you think if they do not know that the place is where travelers go, they will invest so much into it? No. So what it means is that they have done the research for you. They have told you that, look, we are sure that this place is a place for travelers. Secondly, they would have run for a longer time, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, some will be there for 10 years. So what makes you think that people will not be visited? And for Airbnb, what you are offering is an alternative to what? Hotel life, where people can, you cannot go and cook noodles in a hotel,
Yeah.
but you can do that in Airbnb. You cannot just go there and just be doing stuff you want, be heating your food. Some hotels don't even have microwave that you can be heating food and doing what you want, have your own TV, or have like rooms. Many hotels, if you want like a living area in a room, it's like you asking for like the business suite or the presidential suite. And Airbnb can give you that liberty, you know. So it is good to rather see the saturation at what? Credibility, validation. Show where is validation here. To validate the fact that that place is a good place for travelers. So that's where I'll go. A typical example is, and you also have to be creative. You also have to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you are doing the things that people are not doing. People are offering like, let's say, very high end, amenities that they are charging so much for. You can just step down a bit and give other people, the chance to pay a little to have a place to put your head. Again, if you also feel like the people there are just offering the basic, and of course, different, range of people visit different places. Definitely, people who are able to pay more would also want to be visiting these places, and you can step up, give them the luxury they also want, the style, the aesthetics they want, and also get money from them. Then, of course, reviews. You can always go into the reviews of all the properties around and see what is lacking and offer it. I
Mm.
have an example of my place in a city center where the property was on top of a pub, and in the night, this pub opens from, let's say, 8 to, let's say, midnight. People came there, they were giving bad reviews. But the pub there is making noise, which is no fault of mine. So what did I do? I became just creative about it, and I changed my introduction, my subject, that cozy apartment on top of what a pub, good for people that love nightlife. So now anybody that books me likes nightlife. They know, oh yeah, I'm a pub person. I just want to be in the core of the city. So I can even jump into that pub and start my nightlife from there. Or
Yeah, yeah.
by the time I'm back, they would have closed. It saved me a lot of stress and a lot of. I've had people who now are saying, yeah, this is the actual place they want. They can feel the jam from their room. Can you imagine? So there are actually people who wanted a jam from their room, and I was wasting my time on people who are working and want a
They
place to
like that.
sleep. Yeah, they
Yeah,
come they
yeah,
come to work in the day, they want to sleep.
yeah.
There is all of this music and people making noise. So
Mm-hmm.
these are some of the ways you can be creative with your Airbnb to beat competition.
Okay. Who should go into Airbnb?
I think Airbnb is a bit capital intensive. So you cannot start Airbnb like you're starting a cleaning business with £1,000 because you need to pay the rent, you need to pay security deposit. Most of the time, the landlords would even charge you more because they've agreed that you're going to use for a business, you're going to make money. So if the rent is 1,000, they only charge you like 1,200. And you also have to stage the property, you have to buy your bed sheets, buy your curtains, you have to make things nice. You have to buy all of these amenities I've mentioned. You have to get some nice sofa, things, some desk and a chair, all of these things. You have to get internet, things that make it a good space for people to live in. You get it. Sometimes you have to actually set up Netflix because you just clicking on, you have Netflix, put you on a higher pedestal. People will just book you because, oh yeah, there's Netflix. So they can really have something to watch when they're back from work or whatever interest they have, to be watching on Netflix. So all of these things that you are going to spend on is capital intensive. For many, it won't be too much capital intensive, but for a business that you will require like 4,000 or 3,000 pounds to start a first unit, I would say it's a bit capital intensive, looking at how the economy is in the UK. So Airbnb is for those who have some residual income um, that they don't have use for in the meantime, and of course that they are ready to risk because if you are not making any money in that month. You still need money to pay your rent until the month that it will be so lucrative that you can really offset these previous losses. So it's for people who
Okay.
really have money that they don't have use for, and it's, I mean, a bit of a lump sum like 3K, 4K. Yeah, you can actually start with 2K or let's say 1,500. But of course, you're looking at a very little small room that maybe you can negotiate with the landlord that you don't have to pay the deposit. You can give some promises. That is based on your sales skills and how you're able to talk through the whole deal. Reasonably, you should have a deposit, security deposit. You should have your first month rent. You should have money to buy some stuff. Even if it's furnished, you really need to pay some stuff that are in the accommodation just to make it nicer, so you can stage it.
Well, is there a probability that maybe within a month you not have any client?
I don't think so. I, I,
Okay.
I don't see that coming because
Regardless
look,
of your location.
yes, location wise, it might be, but if you are in a location, no matter how much the place is a village, if there is a hotel around, trust me, if you don't get your money, then you should be used as a very big example, or as a point of you should be a point of a research that we will start researching into that. Because if you follow what I'm saying, that if there's a hotel in that village, people
Is that
travel to
village?
that village and
Yeah.
they always want an alternative.
Mm,
Yeah, I advise someone who was starting to be in a place that is not like a big city, it's like a smaller town. And I went to the accommodation with him. I'm like, is there hotels? Like, yeah, there were two hotels. We went to the hotels. Okay, okay, yeah, just go for it. So okay, I'll take the risk if you say so. He started it and he was getting like 2 months bookings, 1 month bookings, 3 weeks bookings, and he was astonished, like really flabbergasted. So don't worry if there is a hotel around. There is a very little chance that you never get booking. Just go for it. But if there's no hotel around, or if there's nobody doing Airbnb there that you can see reviews that people are visiting, then you may want to question. So Airbnb is the first thing that you don't want to start at places where you feel like, oh, there's no Airbnb, there's no hotel. I'm the only person going to have the competition. Yes, you can,
yeah.
but ask yourself, why is it that there is no Airbnb or there's no hotel around? It could mean that it's a ghost town. Nobody is visiting the place. Yeah.
So whatever it is, regardless of the location, once you find out that there's a hotel or there is, kind of a lodging place there, it means that the probability of you
There are
getting
travelers.
clients is very high.
Exactly. Exactly. And for city centers, it's a no-brainer. You don't need to look for any hotel. Right? That's where everybody want to draw, want to travel. Places near the train stations. They just want
Yeah.
to get down. The Airbnb is just 5 minutes walk away. It's so nice for people. Yeah.
Do the reviews affect your business?
Yeah, it does. It does because first of all, it affects where Airbnb places you. So if your review is above like 4.5, 4.7, then you are really going higher. If it's low, the algorithms is said that it won't push you so much. Though you get your bookings back, of course, you won't be the first in the first list. Secondly, people will take time to look at the reviews and be like, okay, these amenities, there is this person complained of that, so I'll book it. However, people also read that, okay, this person said it was a stain on the carpet. Then you come to apologize. Sorry, yes, it was on it. We didn't have much time because the previous guest stained it. But look, now it has been sorted. I mean, if I'm a guest, I'll book it because this is something that is, oh, the bathroom wasn't clean. Sorry, our cleaners were not doing a good job. Now we've beefed up. They know what they are doing. Their quality has improved. I mean, 9 out of 10, if I see that somebody said the bathroom wasn't clean enough and the host says that we've done a better job, I'll believe it because for, it is not like it happens all the time. It is just one really saying it. But of
Yeah.
course, if
Yeah.
people are complaining about the same thing, like my place, that people were complaining about the pub that was making noise, like 4 or 5 people complaining. Anybody that doesn't like noise wouldn't book it. So I had to do it in a way that will attract people who don't care about the noise. So if people are reading the reviews and something is consistent, they may take it seriously and it will affect you. So reviews do affect you. But if you challenge it or if you, improve upon the
Respond.
service and respond, assure
Yeah.
people that it is there, people will just be like, okay, yeah, it's been sorted. Especially reasonably, if it's something that we all know you can sort it, something that got to do with cleaning. Nobody worries about it if somebody is saying the place wasn't clean. Of course, I can clean it better. Even if the place is not clean, you can call me in to send cleaners, call cleaners in to come and clean it whilst you are there. So that is not much of a problem.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, but it does affect you if you don't solve it.
as a young person who has gone into this space, and would you say it's so profitable that you think that for the young Africans in the diaspora, like Ghanaians, Nigerians, can we go and extend it into Ghana, into Nigeria? Is it that viable?
Yeah, I have a friend that built a whole block of apartments just for Airbnb, and he is cashing in big time. He's charging in dollars. People who book are people who are coming from the diaspora. Yes, it is called. Let me give you a shout out. It's called Makati Hill Court. It is one of the
Okay.
best
I
Airbnbs
think I
here.
think I've I think I've heard it before.
Yeah. It's my good friend. I went through the business model with him from scratch when it wasn't ready. So we just delved into it and put it to a standard. He literally shipped all of the amenities, the couch, everything from UK. So he did a UK standard. He made a big investment in it. He did a UK standard Airbnb in Ghana, and it attracted people from diaspora. So people, his guests are literally people from UK, from Europe, from America. Yes, and he was smart. He did very good marketing, somebody who is very known, very well known in diaspora, these ladies that do property tours and all. So the
Yeah,
thing was viewed by people in the diaspora. So those are the people he attracted. So his pricing is very good. It's in dollars. It's expensive for the average Ghanaian, but it's okay for
yeah.
somebody who is traveling with their family.
Who's
They want
traveling?
a two or three. And look, he has 2 bedroom apartments, 3 bedroom apartments. He has a standing generator plant. He has a
Wow.
rooftop. He's making sure people are comfortable. CCTV cameras, 24-hour security, 24-hour clean team and everything. So he's smashing it. He's making a lot of money. And he has like on top of my like 10 flats. Yeah, some of them are like and suites in a flat, like 3 and that you share living space. So for single people who just want an
Yeah.
ensuite that they are in, they don't need to bother about, they have a living space, come and make their tea and coffee or heat their food. It's very good. Then he has 2 bedroom apartments for families and 1 bedroom apartments for, let's say some couple or something. So he's cashing in. It is big. It is big. So, and that brings me to it. It depends on your target market, who you want to attract, and what you want to put in. Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. And
Yeah.
so people are really cashing out from this Airbnb thing.
I can't tell you his figures, but trust me, he's cashing in. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
called
yeah,
Makati Hills
yeah.
Court. Yeah, he built it from scratch to top just for short-term rentals, and it's marvelous. It's not like just one house. He built like units, you understand? Units, of flats, and it's very well designed. The compound, everything is just spot on. Very good standard. And he's getting people who are from the diaspora traveling to, Ghana to just have fun. And it's very well situated between, it's on Makati Hill around Wager. So it's between,
Yeah,
off your way
yeah.
to Cape Coast, Takoradi. So all of these expatriates, it's a good catch for them because they want to be close to Takoradi when they're going, beat all the traffic, you know. But when they want to get to Accra, it's easy for them. So it's a good point to live in Accra, whilst you can just be all the traffic and just go on the road and straight. You just pass Kaswa and you're gone. So the position wise, he's really put the place in a very good position. Yeah, as if he knew all
Wow.
of these things before he started. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So all in
So
all,
I have
you've been helping people as well to build their own
yeah.
Airbnb spaces.
Yes, I did. I mean, he's a good friend of mine, like my brother. Who we just ideated through it how he's going to do it. He's a creative person, so we just went through it. The model, wherever my expertise came in, I just brought it in. Let's do it this way. Let's list it. So I do it all the time. Even here in the UK, there are a couple of people that have set up. Like I mentioned, the person that was going to do it in the town that he thought was not a good place, a catch.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
traveled
yeah.
with him to the place. We looked around, like, look, there are 2 hotels. Just go for it. If it doesn't work, just use your property for, long-term rental, and you're not going to make any profit, but you just get your money out and get scars what they do. Yeah. So same as this friend of mine, I told him, look, if it doesn't work, just rent it out as a long-term property like everybody would do, and it's still just a
Yeah,
property. So why
yeah.
don't you rent it for short time? If it doesn't work, you just go back to your plan B, which is also not too
Wow.
bad. Yeah.
Wow. I think maybe after this I'll love to get him on this one
Yeah,
for
I
him
mean,
to share
I know you
his
don't you have money,
practical.
so yeah,
Yeah.
you have money, so you'll be able to. You have some money lying down.
That's yeah, yeah,
If you
that's
don't, if you won't do it, I'll come and take it and go and get 2 new properties. I mean, rent them and list them.
Wow, interesting. Wow, you've really given us like a lot of background and then insight into this space, and because like we are saying, people could have the money and stuff there, but they don't even know where to put it and then where to
Yeah,
invest
yeah.
it, and people are even afraid of the risk. They keep asking the questions and a whole lot. If someone is listening to us and the person is living from paycheck to paycheck, the person has no real estate, he feels stuck, what is that one boost that the person should take in building his or her Airbnb business?
Yeah, so my point is, if you've ever gotten on a car, on a bus, you've taken the biggest risk. If you're on a diaspora, that means you've ever gotten on a plane. Look, the most stupid thing any human being can do is to get on a plane. The unwisest thing that any human being, the biggest risk that anybody can take is to get on a plane. You get up from bed, you get on a plane, something that has big engines, and you trust that even if the first one fails, the second one will work. If the second one
Work.
fails, the third one will work. And if the third one fails, the fourth one will work. And if all of them fail, by the time they fail, you are told you have reached where you're going to. This is not wise. To put your life in the hands of what? Mechanics, mechanical, components. You
Yeah,
understand? And now
yeah,
let's think about pilots. You have no idea what emotions the pilot is going through. You have no idea what their religion is. You have no
yeah,
idea what their lifestyle is. You have
yeah,
no idea. For us that are Christians, you have no idea whether they are cursed, that they are supposed to what? Just die. And you get on a plane, aside trusting the engines, you are trusting the pilot to cross you over the Pacific Ocean. So people take risks every day. I'm just bringing this thing to let you know that you are never stupid to take your money and put in a venture. And unless you are able to take risk, you will never make any money. So if you ever got on a bus that somebody is driving and their sanity is what is going to take you, you don't know them. All you know is they've been trained as drivers and you hope that they take you to where they're taking you to. It means you're a risk taker. So it shocks me that people have traveled like 20 times and they still tell you that they cannot reach 2,000 pounds, but they could risk their life to get on a coach, believing that the coach driver will not run them into um, a valley. They get on a plane, believing that the pilot will not what, just divert them into the Pacific Ocean, or all of these four engines are going to work. So these are the kind of risks we take. So if you are not able to risk it, then forget it. However, like I mentioned, you can do some risk analysis to know that you are close to success. And that is why I mentioned that if there is a hotel, then it's working. Because these guys have paid money to research to know where travelers go. And they've invested millions. Look at these hotel buildings. A few of them cost less than
yeah,
£1 million. Look at the travel lodges. They are big.
yeah. Very
It's like 2
huge
million, 4
buildings.
million,
Yeah,
£5 million. Yes. They are huge
yeah,
buildings.
yeah.
So you don't
Huge
tell me they
buildings.
paid 5 million and they've run for 4 years if they are not making profit.
They are not making
So
profit.
how is this very difficult for you? You understand? However, of course, business is still risk. But if at this point you want to get revenue before you invest, then you are asking for what you cannot get. And if you're not ready to take a risk, remind yourself that I told you that if you've been on a plane, you have made you have made the most unwise decision. If you've ever gone on a coach, you've made a most unwise decision. Even driving, when you are even behind your steering, you are pretty
Yeah.
much dependent on the sanity of another driver. What if a
Mhm.
truck driver wants to end his life and it just
Yeah,
run
yeah.
to you? So anytime you get out of your room, you are taking risk. Especially when
Can
you get on
risk.
the road, you get on a bus, you're driving your own car, or you get on a plane. That is even the unwisest thing that we all do. I mean, it's inevitable if you want to get around, but I'm just trying to challenge you that you are taking so many risks in a day. You feel
Day
like
in,
you're
day
having fun.
out.
Oh, yeah, I'm going on holidays. I'm chilling. I save my money. Anytime you are going on a holiday, you are taking one of the biggest risks in this
That's
world.
good. You gotta risk.
Trusting engines to fly consistently, to turn consistently. Fuel needs to supply for you to be on top. And it works. And you are telling me you can't run a business. You can.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
It's a big
Wow.
challenge, yes.
Wow. Wow. Yes, yes. It's really a challenge. And then I think basically most people do not want to take the risk, and
Yeah.
especially when it comes to money, because
Money, yeah.
people are emotionally attached to their monies.
Yeah.
And so therefore they do not want to risk any part of it. So
Yeah.
if you do not want to risk it, then forget it. Like you said,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's exactly what people who are those who are into those spaces are doing, like yourself,
Yeah.
taking all the risk that there is
Yeah.
to be able to
Yeah.
get to that space. Yes.
Yeah. And even to make it less
And
risky.
yeah.
Even to make it less risky. If you're able to save to go on holiday, a £2,000 holiday,
Mhm.
put your life in the hands of a pilot and 4 engines to take you towards Santorini. Why don't you save and say, look, this is £4,000, £2,000. I'm ready to throw it away. If the Airbnb doesn't work, I don't care. This is money that I'm saving that is residual. I will never need it if it doesn't come back. Why don't you challenge yourself
Yeah.
like that? I'm not
Yeah.
asking you to go and borrow
Yeah.
money or to
Yeah.
take money that somebody has asked you to keep. Save your own money to failure. Tell that yourself that I'm saving 1 year, £4,000. I know that this money may never come back. And I wouldn't die because it's money that I'm ready to lose. Just like I go on a holiday and I never come back with the money. I don't know how people don't know how to lose money, but they don't know that saving money to go on holiday is also a loss.
So I lost.
That money will never come back. So why don't you just compromise one holiday or two holidays and say, look, I'm starting something for my own self. And even if you're not motivated enough, just start it and say that I'm just going to use the profits from this money to be just traveling. Just get that motivation. And look, if you've lost it, you've lost your travel. Bad can you feel that your travel for this year has been cancelled? When COVID struck, many people had travel plans. They never got to travel. Not because they don't have money, but because you can't go anywhere. Right. So it's the same way as saving money and saying that I'm not going to travel. I'm going to use it for an Airbnb. If it hits, I'm going to travel away. That means if it doesn't hit, what have you lost? Your travel. And I don't see anybody dying because their travel was cancelled.
Yeah. Or you didn't go for the
Yeah,
holidays.
yeah. So you can really make yourself happy by putting it this way. You understand? Be like, oh yeah, it's 3K. It's my travel money. If I lose it, I've lost my travel. That's it.
Wow. 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 Thank you so much. Thank you so much for always giving us, that business or those business
Yeah,
ideas and then
yeah,
pushing us to do more, take all the risk in order to be able to come out of this paycheck to paycheck because people are
yeah,
stuck, but they don't know where to
yeah,
invest their monies and stuff.
yeah,
But almost every time we come to you, you are able to disrupt mindset and bring something out of us and to charge us more because yes, you are doing it and you've cited number of examples, number of people
yeah,
who you are
yeah,
coaching, you've coached, and
yeah, yeah,
they are going on, right? So
yeah.
yes, what will be your final words to us as we wrap up and then we
I give you tips. In Airbnb, your beddings must be white. People are afraid of white because they think it is too difficult to wash, but it is the easiest thing to wash. Why do you think when you go to hotels, they give you white towels for the floor?
yeah, everything white.
It's because they will bleach it. If it's stained, they will bleach it back to white. So if your beddings are white, if your towels are white, it makes it easy for you to wash them. If you pick any colored beddings and somebody stains it, it's difficult because if you bleach it, you are bleaching the whole color. So there will be discoloration.
Yeah,
But if it is white, even if there is wine or blood in it, you put bleach on it and it's back to white. So the easiest thing. So when you go to the hotels again, do you see any colored beddings? Everything is white, including the mats that you step on, because it is so easy for them to throw it in and put bleach on it. So to make things simple, and white is very classy, it's posh. When you go to a space and it's white bed sheets, white towels, the floor mat is white, it makes you feel good. So my tip for everybody is that if you want to venture into Airbnb, just go for white linen, white towels. Look, if I go to your Airbnb and have some brown towel, I hate it. What are you trying to hide? Some blue towel? No, 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 no. Give me white. When white is what we all know, and it gives you that sense of what? Cleanliness. So make sure your beddings are white, your towels are white, even the mat that they step on is white. And you can always wash it in the shortest possible time. And you don't even have to segregate it when washing. You can put all of them together. So the Airbnbs you clean for, I always advise them to get white stuff. So when I get this flat, I put all the whites together, wash them for them. And by the time I'm done, I take it out. They dry it. The time back we are back again, they've ironed it and we lay it again. So it makes it very easy. And that's my tip for everybody. And my piece of advice is I've said it before. Make sure that money you are going to invest is some money that is a lump sum that you're ready to lose. Ever to be on top of your risk, make sure the location is a place that there are existing or Airbnbs or there are hotels. If this works, I can assure you, you are never going to go on book. You are going to have a decent occupancy rate, and you are always going to smash it. There are months that you may not get as much, that you barely will be able to pay your rent. But there are some months that people will book you for 3 months, and that is like 100% occupancy for 3 months, and it covers. So when you are assessing your Airbnb income, you don't assess it on month, you assess it on a year basis. All the time, the good months will cover the bad months. It has never come to play that in a year we've lost money in Airbnb. It never happened. So go for it and know that it is a place that you can actually make money, and you just need to take time for it to go on. The next advice I'll give is, just after paying the rent and the security deposit, have some extra 1 month money, so that the months that it's not very good, let's say
Yeah.
your rent is 1,000 and you got just like 900, you have some £100 to attach with whilst you wait for a better month. Look, summer from June to September
Timber.
can give you so much money that you don't have to worry about some of the months that are not good. And that's how Airbnb works. So know that people are always traveling, and people always need places to sleep. In Maslow's order,
Share
what
of
is
needs. Yeah.
humans exactly? What is humans most, you know,
Yeah.
most needful?
At the
The
top there.
most needful
Yes.
at the
Yeah.
top is what?
At the basic.
Where people
Yeah.
will sleep, what people
Self-actualization.
will eat exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, when it comes to things that people live around, where people sleep is very important for them. What people
The
eat
basic
is also very
stuff.
important. Exactly, basic stuff. So this is basic. It's something people need. And I mentioned last time that when you are selling, you should sell things people want or need.
Yeah.
And this is a no-brainer. Short-term rental is something people will always need, and you will not go wrong with it. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Short-term rental is something always people will need, and you
Yeah,
never go wrong with it. Thank you
yeah,
so much, boss Dennis Akoto. It's always refreshing, it's always refreshing like talking to you, and you can share loads of information and you never even go on tired and stuff. That is very, kind of you to share information. Information ordinarily we would have paid to get. You just give us
yeah,
free because yes, you want everyone to come out of
yeah.
their, from
Of the
paycheck to
challenge, yeah,
paycheck
yeah,
and build something sustainable for ourselves. Yes, so we've delved deeper into Airbnb. Once you listen to this episode, I think you should have an Airbnb business running for you because
yeah,
we've given all that you need on this episode. Thank you so
yeah.
much for coming on board. And thank
Thank you too,
you,
Doc.
audience. Thank you, viewers. Thank you, listeners, for watching, listening to the King Obed podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, share for us to continue to build ourselves together and also come out and build our economic life and financial life together. Thank you. Bye bye.